Hi, folks. This is Elgin SubwaysurferBolling, your creative caricature marketing consultant, with part 9 on making comics the easy way. Because comics are easy. Nothing hard about it. All a comic is, as I've been saying, as I've been preaching over and over again, all a comic is a story. It's a narrative, okay? Told in sequential order with a variety of pictures and text. That's it. Let's take the mystery out of it, okay? So you can do this. I've been preaching this, for the last couple of segments, and I hope that you are as enthusiastic about this subject as I am, because your story needs to be told. And other people's story. Here's what I mean by that last part. We've been delving into our own psyche. Well, your psyche, I guess, would be up here. In our own heart for making our stories, or rather finding our stories. And you should continue to do that all throughout your life and record it, because it's going to resonate with somebody. But there are also stories in people who are very close to you that you might not know about or might not have considered. And it's the people we take for granted. Do you know who that is? It's family. Family. I want you this week to talk to some of your relatives. I'm talking about fathers, mothers, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts and uncles, cousins, especially if they're older than you, especially if they're older, and just talk to them. You can have a mini little tape recorder in your pocket, or just record what they say on pieces of paper. Talk with them about, hey, Grandpa, what was life like for you back during the Depression? Can you tell me any interesting stories? Now, that's going to do two things. Number one, by asking your relatives what their particular story is, you're going to get a lot close to them. And you're going to find out that your crazy uncle, who you thought was kind of unapproachable, you're going to find out this is why Uncle Jack is the way he is. This is what he experienced that kind of contributed to making him that way. And it's going to give you more of a closer relationship with him. But also, I bet you're going to get some fascinating stories that you can illustrate. And some of them are going to be horrifying. Some of them are going to be insightful. Some of them are going to be downright comical. But you're going to get stories that you otherwise could not have gotten had you not interviewed your relatives. Now, a good example of that is the popular story Spiegelman's groundbreaking graphic novel, Maus, M-A-U-S. Where I forget if it was his father or his uncle or whatever, but, whoever it was, he interviewed a close family member, and they were just talking, and then he found out that this family member was a Nazi camp survivor. And just over a series of time, this whole story unfolded, and it was horrifying, inspiring, all of that stuff. And it won him a slew of awards. And I bet you it also brought him closer together with that family member. Everybody has this history. So talk to your relatives. I'll just give you, an example, from my own life. I remember my grandmother told me a story. She lived in the South, in the Old South. In the Old South, where the Ku Klux Klan, was oppressing a lot of people of color. Well, it happens that, someone had stolen a cow. They blamed it on a person of color. I don't know if that was true or not, but everybody was in a ruckus about this cow that was stolen. And so my grandmother's in the kitchen. She's cooking dinner. She's stirring stuff in a pot. And my father was a little boy. All of a sudden, the door busts open that they kick open. And you have these Klansmen, without making any kind of a sound, they walked straight into my grandmother's kitchen while she was a young woman, looked in her pot to see what she was cooking. if my grandmother had been cooking steak, which she purchased, or from a cow that she slaughtered, she would have been killed right there. And so would have my father. And my father actually followed these Klansmen, around the kitchen as they were searching, because he's a little boy and he doesn't know. And my grandmother told me that story, and I said, my God, that's absolutely horrifying. And it's actually a testimony of what times were like back then, that level of racism. Now, that's a classic story that can be illustrated. I never would have gotten that story had we not been talking. So I challenge you, as artists to, start talking, really talking to older people, and not just your relatives, but, maybe, friends, people you meet in nursing homes, people you're on the subway with right now. Just start talking to people who are older, and you'll find out that there's a wealth of information that they have that you can use in a story that's never been written before, or that has more information on, or a new twist. Okay, and that's definitely going to make your comics more compelling. So this is Elgin SubwaysurferBolling, your creative caricature consultant, with another tip on making your comics the easy way.